Hello, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're having an awesome day. We will be getting started here in just a minute. I'm waiting to see if our speaker is in this huge list of names. Hey, Andre.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Andre, how are you doing?
Doing well, thanks. I see we have Patrick here with us as well. Oh,
Hello, Patrick.
you're on mute if you're talking.
Yeah, sorry. I got stuck in crazy New York City traffic. I was here for some CityCoin stuff, and the traffic has gotten really bad here. So if I'm able to give a presentation, I'm having Aiden sort of page through it while I sort of voice over. But good to be here.
Appreciate having you here. Thanks. So we can go ahead and get started whenever you guys are ready.
Cool. Is Aiden here? If you are, do you mind sharing your screen with the presentation?
Oh, I think I see him connecting to audio right now.
Thanks.
Tell me if this is working, guys.
Yes, sir.
See?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Should we do a round of quick intros before we dive into everything?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And Aiden, if you're able to go to the first page before we do intros, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, sorry about that. We got it.
Cool. So I'm happy to dive in. I'm Patrick. I'm one of the creators of CityCoins. We had the idea for CityCoins last April, and the community has grown tremendously during that time. And you know, I hope to make this mine and other people's life's work as we continue to grow this concept, this idea. We're super excited to be here and really thankful that you all are having us speak today.
Awesome. Thanks, Patrick. I can go ahead and go next. So yeah, hi, everyone. Andre here. I'm one of the community leads at CityCoins and one of the core contributors. I handle a lot of the ecosystem growth initiatives. So I work really closely with the city of Miami as well as other cities to figure out how to grow adoption of their CityCoins, some of the use cases that might help to provide value to their city. And I helped to put this program together. So really happy to see you all here and collaborate with Ciara and Akanshika on this. I think that yeah, it's just really happy to see the level of all the developers going through this program and focusing on Web3 education. It's really glad to see. So yeah, Aiden, you can feel free to go next.
Yeah, thanks, Andre. Hey, guys. So I'm Aiden. I'm another community lead with CityCoins. I have a lot of background working in growth and marketing and software startups and with content creators, but have been working with Patrick and the CityCoins community since the start of the project. Day to day, I'm managing the citycoins.co website, the official newsletter, and working with content creators around the ecosystem. So yeah, please feel free to reach out if there's anything I can help with. If you have any questions about content, or if you're working on something cool you'd love to see highlighted in the community, that as well. Maybe over to Derek.
Oh, it looks like Derek hasn't connected.
He goes, I can't unmute myself, but hello, everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for practicing restraint, Derek.
Yeah, here, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Awesome. Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Derek. I'm also a community lead with the CityCoins project, and also been around since inception. I'm spending most of my time helping grow the community and just making sure that we're all staying aligned as the ecosystem grows. Love to support any and all of you as you get closer to our community. And yeah, just really looking forward to seeing this all kick off.
Cool. So I'm happy to give like a very brief presentation. It'll probably be under 10 minutes. I hope it's entertaining, informative, and I'm also happy to answer any questions along with the rest of the gang here. Hey, Cindy. Happy to answer any questions along with the rest of the gang here after the presentation. I'll try and make it concise. So if you hold your questions to the end, you can answer any questions, and we're really excited to. So without further ado, Aiden is going to help me sort of page through the presentation. So if you hear me saying next page, that's just Aiden going to the next slide. So let's begin. Let's talk about CityCoins. So first of all, welcome to CityCoins. What we are building is a funding model and open source developer ecosystem for crypto cities. So we piloted CityCoins with Miami and New York. Those are the first CityCoins, and they've generated tens of millions of dollars worth of crypto treasuries. We plan on having a CityCoin for every important sort of like tech and crypto focused city in the world. So hopefully that's hundreds of cities in the coming years. You have some examples here of some potential cities in the near future, including Austin, Tokyo, Mexico City, Amsterdam, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Miami, Rio de Janeiro, San Francisco, and there are plenty of others like Tel Aviv, Berlin, London, Paris. Basically any city that you'd want to improve and have like an open source developer ecosystem, creating value for the city, you can basically turn into a CityCoin. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. We'll get into kind of like what this all is. So first of all, CityCoins are, we'll get into what their sort of main function is in a couple slides, which is mostly to be used as a governance token. So you can vote with your CityCoins for allocating funding from the city treasury into initiatives that help the city itself. So these are things like maybe you're funding us, maybe you're donating to a soup kitchen 1 week, and another week you're giving a developer grant to build an application that builds at the intersection of crypto and Miami. That could be like an NFT map of the city where people can adopt a highway, or it could be a CityCoin powered Wi-Fi infrastructure for the city. Basically, you have the ability to permissionlessly upgrade the city. And CityCoins, like just like Stacks or Ethereum, don't function as so much as a currency as they do. Excuse me. As they do also a programmable token. So you can program applications to do pretty much whatever you'd like. So an example is you can mint NFTs with CityCoins, and I think we've done about $250,000 worth of NFT mintings using CityCoins. You can vote with them. You can create groups and vote with them. You can earn rewards with them. So there's like a little image of a MasterCard sort of image, like, so you could pay with your MasterCard and earn some CityCoins. You can buy city specific namespaces. That's coming soon. Like that might come in the next couple months. If anyone's interested in working on that, we have some folks that are beginning to get started there. So imagine owning your name .mia, right? And that name is something that no one can take away from you. That's like a decentralized namespace. There's no central issuer of that name. And you can use it to sign into different applications, which is pretty unique. Like you actually have ownership of your own identity. And other folks are interested in building things like stable coins as well. You can imagine USD, United States dollar backed stablecoin for each city if you wanted to. You could have like Miami Cash, New York City Cash, et cetera, et cetera. That doesn't exist today, but it could exist in the near future. And so people are really building pretty steadily there. And we also, I'll get to this in a few slides, but we have 11 projects fully funded in CityCoins Accelerator that has like some insanely good mentors, and they're building companies, and I hope some folks here as well do. All right, so let's go next slide. So some CityCoins milestones. As I mentioned last year, the idea for CityCoins was, the basic idea for CityCoins was hatched on a Twitter Spaces. Just goes to show in the crypto space, like if you can apply, knowledge quickly to an idea, it can become something quite large and it can grow steadily over time. We're really proud that we've moved this fast in just the span of a year. In September 2021, Miami became the first city to accept the donations from its token. And so those donations actually get converted into USD and can be donated to the city. They have so far spent $5.25 million on rent relief for vulnerable Miamians who've seen their rents go up. So we're really proud of that. And then this slide may need to be updated because the value of the city treasury is denominated in crypto, and crypto's been in a bear market. But at close to its peak, Miami Coin had generated about $25 million in proceeds to the city wallet, which is pretty tremendous. In November, Mayor Suarez announced plans to award Bitcoin yield directly to Miami citizens. So that's being worked on as well. What's interesting about that is that Miami citizens will basically just earn Bitcoin for being citizens. So Miami is operating like almost like an oil-rich city that pays its citizens. I'm super excited about that. It's first of its kind. The second city to activate was New York City. Eric Adams publicly tweeted, he said on Bloomberg, and then publicly tweeted that he'd like to see a city coin like Miami's. Super interested in that. So New York City coin at its peak generated well over $30 million, that money is still there today. Another very side note, interesting factoid is that the money in these respective city treasuries is denominated in stacks, and stacks is a cryptocurrency that's it's kind of like Ethereum on top of Bitcoin. It's the biggest project on Bitcoin today, and it also happens to yield Bitcoin itself. So it yields about 8 to 10% annually in Bitcoin. So these cities are actually generating Bitcoin yield all the while, which is fantastic. Okay, let's go next slide. Well, I don't know who's marking that up, but I appreciate it. So this slide should really be less how do city coins work as much as how are city coins mined. So city coins are mined by, instead of spending electricity, you spend cryptocurrency. Specifically, you spend stacks. So on the left side, you see miners mining stacks, forwarding it into a mining contract, and 30% of those stacks go directly to the city wallet, reserved to be applied toward the city and its citizens, and then 70% goes directly to folks who hold the city coin. In this example, it's New York City coin holders. In this example, this also is applicable to Miami coin, but those holders of city coins basically earn a stacks yield. All right, so let's go next slide. So let's talk briefly about CityCoins 2.0. This is a proposal that I presented in Miami. There's about 400 to 500 people in the audience listening in. And basically, what CityCoins 2.0 is the idea that in 1.0 we validated that we could raise funds for a city. In 2.0, we want to validate that we can run a community-driven protocol that uses the coins, the city coins themselves, as governance tokens to basically vote on how to use some of these funds. So the idea here is speed up funding proposals. We don't want to move at the speed of city government, although, if there's any city government that's moving fast, it's Miami. Like they operate like a startup, but most cities don't. So we want to move at the speed of crypto, speed up funding proposals and community involvement. We want to give meaningful control to city residents and make them stakeholders. And then we also want to ensure that funds are deployed into initiatives that reach projects' goals. We want to make sure that we're able to do more good over time, and not the most good initially, and then tapering off without doing much more in the future. We want to do more and more all the time. All right. So basically the idea is turn city coins into like a very carefully led decentralized autonomous organization that uses city coins as a governance token, and the other half of it is activating new cities in a permissionless way. We're excited about that as well. All right, so we'll go next slide. Well, so some press and media, Washington Post calls it a game changer for revenue collection. Bloomberg reports on Eric Adams in New York wanting to copy Miami's coin, which we the city did. And mind you, there's no token sale or ICO or pre-mine of any of these tokens. They're activated in a very fair and compliant way. They're activated through a mining only launch with no primary issuer. So there's no one selling tokens to anyone. It's almost like a natural resources flowing out of the ground. Just an important side note. On the bottom right, we have Anthony Pompliano. He's a big sort of crypto influencer. He got 30,000 likes on the tweet announcing the Bitcoin dividend that's going to Miami citizens. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. Yes, ecosystem growth from standing start in June of last year. Our Discord is almost at 8,000 members. Our email list is probably at 50,000 subscribers at this point. Our Twitter is, I think, at 18,900. And most city coiners are in North America, and miners have contributed over 60 million stacks, but probably more like $90 million to mining city coins, which is tremendous. On the right, you have a little cutout of the Discord where people are hanging out. We have these little groups, for initiatives and working groups where we have categories where people do work. And we're constantly doing calls where the whole community is on. Like a typical call will have 25 people on it, which is and very very intellectually curious people who have really great insights. So we're really proud of the community that we built, and they're all bought in, and we're all just sort of working toward improving cities. Okay, so can you go next slide? Okay, importantly, actually y'all are a part of this slide. There is a 5-week smart contract development course in partnership with Miami. And we have an ongoing accelerator that has some insanely good mentors like Balaji Srinivasan, who's the old CTO of Coinbase, and he was a partner in Andreessen Horowitz. We have the founder of Skype, who's a mentor, the founders of Stacks. We have the ex-CMO of Consensus when Consensus was really driving up much of the growth of Ethereum. And we have the founder of Product Hunt, myself, and many more. Basically, we just have a bunch of killers as mentors, and then the startups that are in the accelerator are getting a lot of TLC, and having a really great time. So they'll be sort of pitching, I think in a month or two when they're done with the accelerator course. But there'll be another accelerator, I believe in the fall, which many of the folks on this call should apply to if you're interested in taking this forward further. Can you go next slide? Yep. So end of slide. Crypto City is already here. It's time to join the revolution. Really excited to be on the call here today and answer any questions y'all have.
Awesome. Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate that. So guys, we have the chat. You're welcome to drop questions in the chat and I can help field them to the team. Or if you want to raise your hand and come up and ask a question, you're welcome to do that as well. I do see that we have a couple of questions in the chat already. So first it says, wouldn't that circumvent elected officials' constitutional right to vote on budgeting for their municipality?
Oh yeah, so city coins aren't. It's not like an if or thing. Like city coins are like an additional sort of revenue stream for the city and the citizens. So we're not taking away from any city budget whatsoever. It doesn't subtract a single penny from a city's operating budget.
Okay.
Sure.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sure. I can add a couple of things in here also. So, I think Patrick touched on a lot of really good points in that presentation. Overall, the goal of City Coins is to really bring Web3 to cities. Our general purpose is to empower communities and to help them be able to better improve their cities. And so I think that, one way I like to think about this is with, a really nice flywheel effect that starts to happen, if we are successful with that, right? Where it starts with, funding public goods like education, programs like this, and then supporting people throughout the life cycle who want to become developers, who are building applications that improve their city. And as this process happens, it really has the potential to upgrade cities and automate a lot of their municipal functions, which hopefully should increase the overall utility and value of the network that drives this treasury funding that can fund more developers and more funding towards improving the quality of life for those residents. And so I really like to think about that flywheel effect. And to Patrick's point, we are a new way to cooperate with city governments and hopefully have more cooperation between officials and the communities that they serve. So, I really think about it as like a novel, public-private partnership, really just increasing cooperation between that. And I saw someone in the chat here asked a question about, how are we going to onboard all Miami residents adoption? This is such an important point. And I think it's one thing that makes this project really unique is that we have the ability to partner with a city government to reach people who have never participated in the crypto industry before. And so to that end, we can make a ecosystem that is more inclusive and more accessible than anything that has existed to date. And as part of that, certainly the goal is to ensure that the residents can participate and are onboarded as part of this process. So, it's definitely something, and even something to think about, as you're thinking about, what kind of projects can you start to build on City Coins? How can we sort of use those relationships to increase the onboarding, make it really easy for people who aren't crypto native to start to participate in this ecosystem, and just continue to improve the user experience, I think would add a ton of value there.
Awesome. Thanks, Andre. All right, I see another question here in the chat. Where are the Bitcoins going that are used to mine stacks?
Yeah, Bitcoin that is used to mine stacks, instead of getting burned and just going to a black hole wallet address, they instead get sent to stacks holders who have temporarily locked their stacks tokens. And so we call the locking of stacks tokens stacking as opposed to staking. So with staking, you earn more of the same currency. So you stake Cosmos's Atom token, I believe you earn more Atom token, if I'm correct. With stacks, when you stack your stacks, you earn Bitcoin. And the reason this actually also powers the consensus mechanism called proof of transfer, which is kind of a variation of a consensus mechanism called proof of burn. And so instead of spending electricity to mine token, you spend cryptocurrency, and it's a lot. I mean, not to like greenwash it, but it is a lot greener than doing regular proof of work. However, we also do believe that having one blockchain that does proof of work is important, and that is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin ends up being this like ledger of record that no one can mess with, and is highly secure. So that's how it works.
Thank you. Let's see, I see another question here, which I think is a follow-up to the question on the officials' right to vote on budgeting. Any money is coming into the city become part of their budget and still have to be formally accepted by the governing body. Do these cryptocurrencies work as quote unquote donations that come with stipulations for use?
Yeah, so initially, what has occurred thus far is that there is a gift agreement between the city of Miami and CityCoin's nonprofit. And what happens is CityCoin's nonprofit can convert some of the Stacks holdings into USD and just donate it to the city. The city can use it however they'd like.
Are there any methods or concepts that would allow for city coins to be used for large transaction uses? For example, use them to buy goods from local businesses?
Yeah, I think so. Just like you can spend Bitcoin as currency, the problem is that cryptocurrencies generally are far too volatile to be used as a unit of account. It's almost like having a measuring stick that changes size all the time. It would be very useful, and so that's why people create things like stable coins. And there are every stable coin has their trade-off. Like USDC, the trade-off is that it's a centralized stablecoin, but it has all those dollars in an actual bank account backing it. Whereas, a stablecoin like DAI is like an I believe it's an over-collateralized stablecoin, which has protocol risk as opposed to sort of platform risk, meaning like the protocol itself, you want to make sure it doesn't get hacked or anything like that. But it's held up pretty well. So I think that's why there's a bunch of folks who are pretty excited about the idea of creating City Cash, which would be like a complementary sort of cryptocurrency to go with City Coins, or it could even be backed by City Coins. However, I do think it'd be safer to back it with dollars. And the interesting thing about City Cash is it would give it would kind of give like a municipality root control over their own dollars, where that does not really currently exist today. And that's a pretty fascinating thread that we could discuss at some point if there's interest.
Right. I'm seeing some really great questions here in the chat. So stacks can only be created or mined by transferring Bitcoin, and City Coins by transferring stacks. Given this, is there an easy way to describe the mathematical relationship between the market cap and or the total coin supply down the line?
Yeah, the total coin supply is knowable because it's just hard coded into the protocol. Like it's just like, how much Bitcoin there's going to be in the future. How much stacks there's going to be in the future, and same with City Coins. In terms of the relationship between terms of the relationship between the market cap and the amount that's being mined, if that was the question. What actually, there's a very cool, interesting sort of relationship between the market, like the price of the token, and how much is being mined at, because basically every single time the token is mined, it creates like a trading pair where you have, like, for example, if you're mining city coins, every 10 minutes there's 50,000 city coins that get created, and however much the miners spent in aggregate over those 10 minutes creates a price pair between city coins and stacks. And that's very interesting, because basically you can know on chain the actual value of city coins without ever looking at an oracle or like an exchange. It's like literally on chain, the value. And the reason that is knowable is because stacks are also mined in a similar way by forwarding Bitcoin. So you have a price pair between stacks and Bitcoin. So you know what the price is between Bitcoin and city coins because it's connected to stacks and they're mined in the same way. I don't know if that was confusing, but basically you have price pairs through the mining function. Someone will probably do something interesting with that. I don't know yet, but I find that very interesting. You essentially, if there's, imagine there's 200 different city coins in the future, you can basically measure the entire Bitcoin economy because of the way all of these coins are mined. You can measure them in real time without any use of any exchanges.
Yeah, that's actually crazy when you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like an
right.
it's like an economist dream. It's just like open source, knowable,
Yeah.
total economic understanding of what's going on.
All right. Let's see. You mentioned having a stable coin for each city. Wouldn't one stable coin be more robust than making 100 different city stable coins that ultimately do the same thing?
Yeah, and that's a really valid question. Probably. The question is, like, are you trying to create like the NFL where you have a bunch of different teams? And there's arguments for that, right? Like the argument for that is each city wants to have root control over their own stable dollar. That there's good reason for that. Like you might not want to be in the same, Berlin might not want to be in the same pool as Tel Aviv for some reason, and then but your point is like very valid, which is like, can you just create a much larger stablecoin if you combine forces with all cities kind of pooling together? And I think the answer is yes. And that is a pretty fascinating question because what you've effectively done is you've created a network state, right? So you have all these cities that are essentially part of a network state that have their own stable dollar, and they're all pro crypto. They're basically all pro crypto, and they want to benefit their own citizens, and they sort of work together to do so. So that is a really excellent question, and I'm probably like 70-30 in your camp, where like it makes more sense to do the $1 the one stable coin as opposed to have like a diffusion of focus across many stable dollars, where you're like, okay, oh my god, what do we have to do? Like list 200 different stable coins on all these different exchanges. It's much easier to have one. That's a really great question.
Okay. Thank you for that, Patrick. Next question. I work for the school board and I've been working on the City Packs project to utilize funds raised. However, the biggest challenge we have, as well as the city of Miami, is that our attorneys will not let us have a crypto wallet. We can only take USD donations or gifts generated and then converted via a third party. Any ideas on how to advance this for the future?
Yeah, I think this is like basically like governments and entities that are run by governments are generally going to move a little slower than say like startups. And yes, most cities are not allowed to have crypto on their balance sheet. And so, yeah, I think it's tough. I mean, like one is like try to vote for a change, you know, with your sort of legacy government, your traditional government, and try to get them to get like the state, basically the state of Florida, to approve cities holding crypto on their balance sheet and cities holding crypto on their balance sheet. That's a useful sort of route. Another route is like just have a third party that has full control over the crypto, and they can effectuate transfer of funds into USD if they pretty much you know, at your request, but you know, they're basically donating to you at your request, and they have full rights to say yes or no.
Yeah, I'll add on
Not
to
great
this.
options.
I'll add on to this really quickly. First off, Ava, nice to see you here. I know we've spoken with Diego a couple of times. So glad to see you part of this cohort. Yeah, I mean, generally agree with Patrick. I'll say that hopefully, you know, incentives matter, right? And so now that hopefully cities have significant capital on the line, that will really push them to revisit some of these regulations. I think a lot of these things are states issues, and so they have to work with the state of Florida to enact some of that change. But hopefully, given all of the activity happening in the crypto space, and with some of the benefits that projects like this can provide, we'll start to see some of that stuff be updated in the near future.
I can read these other questions if you want.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, just to save you some air. Follow up on the econ question. If we were to do all of our accounting in Bitcoin instead of dollars, that would make the coins very stable / non-volatile, right? In other words, is all the volatility we see on stacks and Bitcoin coming from Bitcoin's volatility only? Just crypto in general is volatile because it is pegged against a dollar. You know, Bitcoiners will often say, you know, instead of saying one Bitcoin equals you know, $30,000, what they'll say is one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. Basically, like in their mind, they're on the Bitcoin standard, and everything else is volatile to them. But I think we're not really there yet from a societal standpoint to let all be like mentally fixed on Bitcoin, and things like a stable dollar are it's not trivial to create a new stable currency that's not based on any existing fiat currencies. That is like a not an easy at all problem to solve. And you know, Satoshi Nakamoto, the person or group or who or alien or whatever who created Bitcoin, basically said, okay, the dollar is stable, but it loses a little bit of value every year. Like this year, for example, it lost like 8% of its value, which is like tremendous. It's a lot. And you could pretty much view that as like a fee for its stability. Whereas Bitcoin, and so it goes down in value over time deterministically. Whereas Bitcoin is highly volatile, but goes up in value over time because it's basically a pure money market. And it as a meme pretty much like infects people's minds. I mean that in an endearing, positive way, more so than negative. It like infects people's minds. And once you learn about Bitcoin, it's hard to unlearn about it. And so it's pretty much going to go up in value over time because of its issuance schedule and the strength of its meme. Okay, so in other words, the volatility we see on stacks of Bitcoin come from Bitcoin's volatility only. Yeah, that's a pretty deep question. I think in part, yes. Like a lot of the crypto industry is basically Bitcoin's like the tail wagging the dog, sort of like Bitcoin's volatility affects other cryptos' volatility because Bitcoin is the denominator of all crypto. It's like the benchmark upon which you measure all other cryptos. If you didn't beat Bitcoin in terms of your value if you're a crypto, then the argument is you should just stay in Bitcoin, right? And so when the tide goes out on Bitcoin, when Bitcoin value goes down, other cryptos go down as well because people are liquidating their crypto to get into the safe haven that is Bitcoin. Bitcoin has definitely established itself as that. So that's that question. Someone asked for the Citicoin stablecoins to be backed 100% by US dollar. 100% by US dollars, or will it use an algo mechanism? Comment. Maybe create a stablecoin that is tied with a natural commodity like gold or silver. Just an idea. Yeah, it's a reasonable idea. Even gold and silver are probably more volatile than the US dollar, and so like having a very stable unit of account is really important for just basically commerce. People have proposed this before. It's doable. It's doable. It's just probably more volatile than the US dollars. I think that's what people want. Del Rey has a really great question. When will you be able to mine Citicoins with Bitcoin? This is a question that's been asked in the community multiple times. I believe there are solutions to make this possible. The reason that this is such an important question is basically the capital markets for Bitcoin are almost $1 trillion. By contrast, the capital markets for pretty much any other cryptocurrency is in like the single to double, any other major cryptocurrencies in like the single to double digit billions. So like everything else is like a fraction of Bitcoin in terms of how much money is out there. And so, the sort of corollary to that is the asset that more people hold more of is going to be an asset where you can basically get more business from. And in Citicoin's instance, you could get more Bitcoin coming through to mine Citicoins than you could get stacks coming through. So there's a good reason to try to open up mining to people that have Bitcoin as well. Hoping someone solves that problem. And I don't want to go on a tangent thinking through solutions on this call because they could really go off the rails. There's a bunch of different ideas, and we would like to see that happen, basically.
Patrick, I've a question or two. Could you talk a little bit about some things that you hope to see built in the near future on Citicoins, especially as people are kind of getting up to speed on thinking about potential projects, especially with the hackathons coming up? Where do you see that going?
Yeah, City Cash, I think would be amazing. Like I already created a brand for City Cash, like it's being created. I'm like, I'm just like, almost like if I create a brand, maybe someone will create it and they can just take the brand. I think it'd be really cool to some more ideas. I think it'd be really cool to have a mobile augmented reality where it's read and write only if you hold the Citicoin. So for example, if you're in Miami, you might put up your camera and you'll see like a big whale coming out of the harbor, or you'll see a bunch of Miami coins flags like in front of apartment buildings. And it's like this, here this is like Miami coin territory, but you can't see that unless you yourself are also holding Miami coin, and you can't write to it. You can't create an NFT or a digital artifact that's viewable unless you have Citicoins. That's very interesting. Creating dashboards, I think, is really important. Like we want to improve the health, happiness, and wealth of city citizens. Just basically like make people's lives better. That's one of the main goals. And so if we were able to have like health dashboards, I think that'd be pretty cool too. Like imagine having like anonymized health data on like the city to like really provably see like which cities are becoming healthier and healthier. I think that'd be really terrific. Another one, someone asked who's working on the namespaces. There's a couple of people working on the namespace on the namespace stuff? Are they like deciding to? They can't, like, we just have to say, please do this, and they'll do it. They're just wondering if there's interest. But yeah, like these namespaces I think are so huge. If you're able to spend a little Miami coin to mint your own name, like I'd have like patrick.mia. I could then just change my Twitter profile to be like, I'm patrick.mia, and that signals I'm a part of this in group, and everyone else knows that as well. That's like kind of like first base. Second base is using that name to sign into applications that show that you are part of the Miami community. And the way you're provably part of the Miami community because you had to spend Miami coin to get those names. Those are just a few examples. I think those are kind of cool. Oh, I have one more example actually. This one's I've been like really throwing some like deep end ideas at y'all. So if they sound a little like too futuristic or nerdy or whatever, I'm sorry. This one is basically expanding the square footage of a city, or expanding like the territory of a city. And what you do is you have this thing called proof of HODL access control. So basically you sign in to a physical space. You can have like a lock on the door that unlocks when you provably hold Miami coin. You go through that door and then, basically that whatever's behind that door represents a continuation of Miami. So like, you could have a space in Fort Lauderdale and be like, this is Miami territory. Like you can only get in if you hold Miami coin, and boom, you're kind of in this like Miami embassy. And so I think that's like very fascinating it's very futuristic, but very fascinating from the standpoint of like, what does the future of like borders look like, or governments look like, and I think what the future looks like is we're going to have a network state instead of a nation state, and it's going to look like an archipelago, basically. Just like Snow Crash city states. Yep. But that one is cool. Like I would like, if someone wanted to do like a hackathon, I would throw up like 10 grand just to do the hackathon and like provide the hardware devices to totally do that. Because I just think that'd be like super cool to like see get created. Yeah.
Well, luckily for you, Patrick, these guys will be at a hackathon at the end of June. So make sure you guys take them up on that.
Yeah.
And one also quick note, because you were talking about dashboards, which I think is really interesting. There's actually a company that has already started to integrate city data with the Citycoins protocol. So there's a link that I'll drop here, because this could be a good jumping off point for some of this stuff, where basically they're using open data APIs that the city's been collecting to create all sorts of decentralized applications for their city. And so, kind of serving as like the data layer for cities. So the first one that they're working on is basically to integrate Miami Coin as an incentive system into the city's 311 services. So basically, the city of Miami had a problem where people were using e-scooters, but they were leaving them just like all over the streets. They were out of compliance. And so, the city's 311 service is like through the 311 service, people can report that these scooters are out of compliance. And with Miami Coin, it is an additional incentive layer there. So basically you can earn MIA for doing something that's good for the city, for becoming more civically engaged. And that's just like one example. I think there's so many examples that we could start to look at that would be really, if anyone wants to do this for the hackathon, like start to look at some of these open data APIs and figure out some dashboards that you can create around city health. Maybe there's some environmental dashboards that you can integrate and start to think about, ways that you can incentivize the right kind of behavior that could improve the city. Just some ideas. I dropped the link to the article down below.
Yeah, I think the city is already like charging $25 for every like scooter that's like on its side or like in the street. And basically, like if you're just like documenting that all day, you could be like, I accept Miami Coin, or you could build an app that kind of like captures a small fee from that $25 fee. And the world is a lot more plastic than you think. Like you can go to the city and like ask 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 if you can help them out there. San Francisco charges $100. Yeah, San Francisco charges $100 for a scooter on the street, but then won't prosecute like defecation or drug dealing. There is definitely market for that. Yeah, for sure. I love SF. Yeah, San Francisco is such a beautiful city. It's a shame what's happening to it. Honestly, it's like really sad. But Miami is looking. People are more pro Miami than any city in the country right now, and I think the reason for that is that Miami is like a progressive city, but it's also a technologically progressive city. It's like not a lot of cities are like fully embrace technology. There's this weird thought pattern that somehow technology is inherently bad, or we should be skeptical of it. But technology represents progress almost more than anything else. So it's good to be a technological progressive thing. Yeah, we also have some of the lowest wages compared to other major cities. Yeah, Elizabeth, that's a great. Yeah, that's a great point. Maybe like one of the things we've seen is people whose work is largely not compensated as well as it should be, like artists. Have at least seen some salary boost from doing city-based NFTs, which has been really nice. That's another thing too. It's like lowest wages in the city. That is a problem. That is a problem that we could like scope out and like try to solve. We want poverty is not a virtue. We want everyone to be wealthier and more financially robust, so that they can be healthier and happier. So part of the reason that Miami is doing the Bitcoin dividend is like half education. It's more probably mostly education, honestly, but also it puts some money in people's pockets. Like it's a technological truth that you are making the city wealthier as a function. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I think NFTs are a really important point there, Patrick, right? Because Miami has such a vibrant artists and creative scene. And so just in like the last few months of last year, we saw like $250,000 of primary NFT sales. But I think that if we can look at ways that NFTs can provide new earning opportunities for artists to make a living, that sort of like tap into some of that creative energy, it could be one way that Citycoin NFTs not only provide support for the residents that the cities that we're working in, but also provide a way for the cities to share in that value. Because the more like high quality IP and NFTs come to the chain, the more that accrues value to the protocol itself, which should be reflected in the city's treasury.
Totally. Here's an idea for anyone that's interested. Imagine creating like a map of the whole city of Miami. Ideally, it's like a fun, cool looking map where it's sexy looking, and you like sell off little parcels. Like you might sell off like a street in Brickell, or like a bike path in Little Havana, and basically it's kind of like adopt a highway. So you're getting all these like crypto capitalists to basically donate directly to the city, and you can have like 80% of the funds just go directly toward beautification of the city or improving, like maybe fixing a pothole or planting tulips or doing something that's good. But then give it to the people who donated like little bragging rights in this like sort of metaverse overlay, whether it's just on like a web app, you can like look it up, or maybe it's a VR app that you can be like, oh, it looks like Maria, kind of is sponsoring this street. And, thank you, Maria. It's amazing. So that's kind of a cool idea where you can combine like philanthropy with NFTs, art, bragging rights and things like that. Yeah, Alban, Gil, great. Yeah, I was like this close to just starting a Miami Coin Cafe, and that was Ryan Hoover, is the founder of Product Hunt, who lives in Miami. He was like, dude, create a Miami Coin Cafe. I would go there every day. if anyone has real estate hookups, let me know. I would love to pitch in for that. I think it'd be great. It's almost like the Dada artists in like Zurich. They'd like hang out in the same cafe and like talk about art. I think we could do the same thing with Miami Coin. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we should definitely revisit that, Patrick. It would be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Eva has said something. I'm just kind of skipping through a little bit here. Sorry if I'm just like bouncing around. And if someone wants to just like talk on the call, that's not just me. Feel free. Eva says also where in the county people are located, so we can build programs around areas of need. I don't know if she was responding to low wages, if that's so. Yeah, I think there's like 5 districts in Miami, and it's important to not over-index on any one district. Like you don't want to over-index on Brickell when did I say Little Havana before? I meant to say Little Haiti. Sorry. And there's like other districts or areas that can be focused on. The thing that comes to mind though, when it's like, how do you get coverage of an entire city and then start accessing them, accessing people to try to improve their lives, is like, I kind of think about it like an app store, and like everyone's home address is everyone that has like a home address, right? So like one thing we could do is we could like send letters to each of these people. It's like, hey, here's your Bitcoin dividend. You also can register a namespace, like a .mia namespace. And it's like, okay, Fernando, Francisco, John, Ava, yada, yada, all these people now have their own .mia namespace. And we kind of know that they're a citizen of Miami. And then we can start building applications around them. Or we could trial like crazy ideas. Like we could trial universal basic income with the people that have that. Or we can create games for these folks. But like the idea of creating an app store for citizens, I don't really think that's been like fully explored or really appreciated. And that's something that I think could be very, very powerful if done correctly. Is there a place to see how many wallets hold Miami Coin? A lot of people who hold Miami Coin hold it on exchanges, unfortunately. So it's hard to get an accurate number there. In terms of the number of holders that are real citizens of Miami, that's work we want to do. I think like the DAO, basically like one of like the mandates is making sure that Miami citizens are becoming stakeholders, so they have a say. It's like really important. You don't want to be just like, you want as many Miamians as possible to be stakeholders in success of their city through Miami Coin. So getting the word out, whether that's mailers or like on foot, we're going to work together to do that and try to increase that number.
I see a question here from M. Herbert. Speaking of Miami Coin, are there geographic barriers or geofences to this project? This is actually a really interesting question that I can talk about really quickly. So, at the highest level, no, there's no barriers. Anyone can own Miami Coin, participate in the community, and generally get involved, which is really a feature, not a bug. I think that one of the things about using Web3 blockchain technology, it allows Miami to leverage a global community and capital from all over the world to improve its city, which is pretty powerful when you think about it, because all of a sudden you can have developers from all over the country or all over the world building civic applications that improve Miami, including contributing capital to improve the city itself. So there's no geofences in that sense, but that is something that we're thinking closely about, as we're sort of building a DAO around Miami Coin itself. There are some really interesting ways that we can think about, ensuring that the DAO is, like that like it's really focused on residents, ensuring that residents have like leadership positions in the DAO, or really defining that mandate. We're kind of going through that process right now, but definitely ways that we can sort of like restrict or benefit local Miamians like through that process.
Yeah, holding the DAO accountable to benefit citizens is really important. Not having an anti-foreign bias is also really important too. Like I live in Los Angeles, and I love Miami, but I can't move to Miami because I have like network in Los Angeles. But but I want Miami to succeed. So I mine Miami coin and I hold Miami coin and I invest in Miami coin apps. And also Miami is like a state of mind. It's like Miami might become a country at some point in the future. And like, we should plan for that. Like it might increase its territory. We'll see. Half joking.
Totally. Well, Shara, I see that we're coming up against the top of the hour. I imagine some people might have to hop soon. I just wanted to check in to see if we should maybe get some like closing questions, or how are we doing on time?
Yeah, yeah, I think we do want to stay true to time here. So if there are any final questions that come through real quick, we can maybe get one or two more. Otherwise, we can wrap this up.
Should probably address that question from Adrian.
Yes. So coding officially will start on Monday, although I mean, you guys are welcome to start playing around with Clarity as soon as you want to. If you have not received access to Code Academy, I guess I'll say this right now, send me an email. I will drop my email address so that I can get you that access.
Yeah, I was just going to add really quickly also that tomorrow will be, I believe, the first technical introduction to Citycoin. So you'll be speaking with the core contributor, Jason Schrader, who can go into a little bit more detail about how the contracts are structured and things like that. So, basically by the end of this week, you should have a pretty good sense for the ecosystem, how the contracts are set up, and be ready to dive into the Clarity coding on Monday. And of course, there's the Clarity book. So if you're just itching to get started, you can go ahead and start doing that too.
Thank you, Andre. And thank you, Patrick and Aiden. And I'm sorry, who else did we have here? Well,
Derek.
To our Derek, yes. Thank you all for being here.
Chiara, what about this last question here? Have you already gone over how to set up like the local environment so that if people want to start learning, they can go ahead and do that? Or what is the best place to look at that?
So in the prerequisites list, in the Notion document that was sent out in onboarding, that has steps to set up your local environment. If you're still having issues with that, feel free to reach out to us on Discord and we can try to get that troubleshooted.
Yeah, hopefully everyone here is getting the emails, has already gotten onto the Discord where Shara and Akanshka are available for questions, as well as the Code Academy where all of these resources are being placed as well.
Okay.
I'll add, see if your email, your Discord is not working, shoot us an email and we'll get that set up for you. If your Code Academy is not working, again, reach out on email or Discord. If your environment setup is not working, reach out anywhere. I just want to push on that, reach out to us. We are there to help you. It's not only about office hours. We will be available and looking at our chats in our Clarity Universe channel all the time. We are hoping to see more questions and more people reaching out to us. We do have a couple of people already reaching out. So I want to encourage everyone, let's push to that before we start our Monday session. We want everyone to be ready with the environment and probably ready with, code along with us.
Yes, thank you, Akanksha.
Yeah, thanks for having us, everyone. This was fun.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you, team. Bye-bye.